Hello everybody, this is Dan, our Crazy Bad Cuber. In today's video, we are going to be doing my top 5 favorite puzzles that I own in my collection. And I would say that these are my favorite top 5 puzzles of all time. And I'll give you reasons as to why as well. All right, so the first one is a Rubik's Cube. It's an actual Rubik's brand cube. Now, why would this be in here? This is number 5. This one here is in my top 5. Not my top 1, but it's my top 5 favorite because it's the very first Rubik's Cube that I ever had. When I first started cubing, I solved these things on Rubik's apps, basically, and I would solve them digitally. And then I went to a Toys R Us store where I finally found out where I could buy one of these things, and I bought this thing. And this was the first one ever. And at the time, I didn't really have any sentimental value to it, as I shortly after that went and got some better speed cubes. But so I ended up giving this to a friend of mine named Chris, and Chris held on to it for years and years, and I totally forgot about it. And I always wondered whatever happened to the very first one that I ever bought. And then I was at Chris's house one time, and he showed it to me, and he's like, "This is the first one that you had." And I was like, "Wow!" Like the nostalgia, like. Out of everything that I have achieved as Crazy Bad Cuber and as far as I've gone with Rubik's Cubes, it's really cool to get my first one back. And this thing was once like full of dirt, full of sand, and that's actually why it moves so well for a Rubik's Cube. You can actually, as long as you line things up, it moves. It's not stiff. There's no lubrication in here, but it still moves really good. It kind of corner cuts a little bit. Not really, though. But this is number 5 because it is my very first Rubik's Cube ever. This is what started Crazy Bad Cuber. So number 4 is the Angstrom Wuchue M. So the reason that this is number 4 is because I'm sure a lot of you guys who have been subscribers of mine for a long time have noticed that I've liked 4x4 the entire time of my cubing career, basically, but there was always one thing that I didn't like about a certain 4x4 if it came out. Either it corner cut really well, but it was too slow and I couldn't speed it up, or it popped, but everything else about it was great. It was fast and corner cut well, but it did pop. This is the very first 4x4 that I've ever had that nothing is wrong with it. Nothing. It's perfect. The speed is great. The corner cutting is amazing. There's really nothing I can say wrong with this thing. It even reverse corner cuts with ease. It's the very first 4x4 that I've ever had where I'm happy with literally everything to do with it. And that says a lot because 4x4s have always been a problem in one way or another. And I've set all of my PBs with this thing as well. So that's why this is number 4 on my top 5 list. Number 3 is this puzzle. Now, not all of them are going to be Rubik's Cubes. Most of them are cubes except for this one, like twisty puzzles. This one is more of a burr puzzle. However, this one, I've actually had this for years now, and it's one of my own designs. And I had it 3D printed by somebody, and I went to go and meet him to pay for this, and I guess he failed a bunch of attempts. And we had a long discussion about 3D printing puzzles. The reason that this is never been shown on my channel, one, because I can't solve it. I think it's literally impossible. Its name is Kidney Stone because it's such a pain. But basically, it's three boards. As you can see, I can move one up, so we kind of have like, three boards to it, and they slide around each other basically like this, and it's like 90 moves. Let me check how many moves actually. All right, yeah. So this puzzle is 90 moves to remove the first piece of this. The second one is 25 moves to remove the second piece. And the third piece comes out after 35 more moves after that. So the difficulty of that is once you remove a piece, because right now we have restrictions. We have 3 restrictions on each side. But once you remove a piece, you've removed a lot of the restriction from the puzzle. So a lot more can move. So those next 25 are actually quite difficult in order to get those, because there's more restriction, there's less restriction, and a lot of things can move around more. And then the third piece at 35 moves can be even more difficult, because now you've removed 2 pieces, which means that there's 2 less restrictions and much more pieces can move around. The main reason that this one got into my top 5 is because this is a certain type of shape. It's a 3-board shape in a certain amount of blocks. And there are some on Puzzle Will Be Played, which is where you publish your burr designs, and there is 1 or 2 that are a higher level than this, but they need restriction. And what I mean by restriction is, so say on this puzzle here, which is also my puzzle called Superman. Now, if you take a really close look at the piece, you'll see that there are some chamfered edges all the way around. But the chamfered edges on the outside are much more deep than they are on the inside. And all the deep ones have to be on the outside, because there's more than one solution to this. If they were all the same, you would be able to put this thing back together in easier ways than you usually would be able to. But because you're restricted, because they have to be on the outside, this makes a unique and single solution. And all of the other ones on Puzzle Will Be Played have markings. You have to actually make the boards different, or the 3 sides have to be different colors. This one here is the only one ever invented where there's no color restriction. It is a unique solution with no markings. And I showed the guy who has a higher level than this the file for this, and he said, at this certain move, you should be able to remove this piece by twisting it. So I'm sorry to tell you, but it's no record at all. And so I said, okay. So I had this thing printed, and then I went to those moves, and it's not possible to take it apart and tell 90 moves. And I'm going to make a video on this at some point in the future, and I'll prove it at that point. But that's number 3. All right, guys, so number 2 in my collection is the Boron treated Weilong GTS2. So I know a lot of you guys are sick of hearing about this puzzle, and you're going to hear about it again. This puzzle, I broke all of my PBs on. It is seriously a really nice puzzle. The problem with why this wasn't produced and I got a copy was, one, because I've met Chris Tran. He likes my channel. He wanted to give it to me. Okay, perfect. The reason it wasn't produced, though, is because it's very expensive to make. This would be an extremely expensive puzzle. And I have a Boron treated GTS 2M and also a Ganair SM. This was my main for so long that I can't let it go. It is got a lot of sentimental value to me. It is considered a rare puzzle as well. And it just moves fantastic. In fact, I would still use this puzzle as my main. The only thing is I wanted to move on, because I used a Diane Zanchi for like 3 years on my channel, and I would refuse to get a new main and actually work with another puzzle to the degree that I would with a main. And so now I'm using the Yushin Huanglong 3x3 magnetic as my main, and that is a really, really good cube. I know a lot of people, they like it, but they don't think it's the greatest out there. But for me, it's a really good puzzle. This one here, I think, is just as good. I needed to move on from this. I've been on this for too long, and I needed to experience some new stuff. But this is number 2 in my collection. All right, guys, so the number 1 favorite puzzle, twisty puzzle, that I have ever received in my entire life, and the funnest solving process, and just how well it's built, is Twisty Texas 3x5x7 bump cube. I made a video on this a little while ago. I do plan on very shortly here making a tutorial, or more of a walkthrough of this as well. But I saw this on Super Antonio Vivaldi's channel, and I was amazed. I was amazed by the quality. I think Super Antonio Vivaldi's was black plastic with white stickers, so I requested blue because I wanted something different. And if you haven't seen the video on this yet, you can check it out on my channel. And it's basically a bump cube 3x5x7. So you're gonna be bumped out in all different directions. And of course, it can shape shift in every direction as well, and it becomes this really big mess of a puzzle. And oh, what did I do? Here we go. And the solving experience for this puzzle is really like the best I've ever had. It's not too big of a cuboid. I mean, look at this thing. Okay, so I have screwed up another solve of this, and this is a 7x9x11. This thing is intimidating. It gives me anxiety. I have screwed it up. I went into edge pairing and I ended up screwing up my centers, and now I have to start the centers again. I end up getting this thing solved. I've solved it once. Anyways, I'm gonna make a video. I'm almost done with this puzzle, so that video will come out soon and I'll further explain that. But this thing here is my favorite puzzle I have ever received, ever, hands down. It is so smooth, so well built. The solve is so fun. There's nothing bad I can say about this, and it makes me proud of Twisty Text to have created this. It's a very big achievement, and it's super fun to solve. Alright guys, so that is my top 5 favorite puzzles I have ever had. Please let me know in the comment section down below what your top 5 are, and see if we have any in common. Alright guys, so if you like this video, please leave a like on it and subscribe with notifications on. That way you guys can get notified right away. I usually end up checking my comments and replying to them when the video is first around, and then it kind of dies off. But so if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below if you get to this video as it's being uploaded, and likely I'll answer your questions. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.